Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Tim Brooks with Worldwide Technology, and we are partnering with CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of interviews. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Mahi Sethuraman, who is head of Omnichannel at Ally Financial. Good morning, Mahi.
Good morning, Tim.
Great to meet you. Thanks for joining us. Hey, I have a question I wanted to start just right from the top. So those of us that are chief data officers or work with chief data officers, I don't know any of us that had that job in mind when we were little kids growing up that said, one day I want to be in charge of all the data and the insights that are generated from a large company. So how did you get in? How did you get involved? And because I know you're working with data all the time in your role. How'd you get started? How'd you get involved in this?
That's a great question and a great opener. And this might surprise most people that I work with, but I didn't grow up wanting to be in the ID. I grew up wanting to be a doctor. A twist of fate had me pursuing a career in computer engineering and then started working in the IT sector. My fascination with data began with my very first job when I started working at American Express as a web developer, building international websites, at that time in Java J2EE. And a chance meeting with a senior business stakeholder led me to believe how much they did not have insights about web analytics on key customer journeys. So I very quickly devised a solution to actually generate those insights and then build dashboards to do that storytelling with the power of data. And it quickly earned me my first promotion. So that was my fascination with data. That's where it all began. I further nurtured this passion when I started building customer demographics and personalization capabilities to cross-sell card offers and decide next best actions for customers. And that just entrenched the power of the insights and the revenue potential that the data had at that time. With the advent of cloud adoption and how accessible deep learning models really became and the availability of real-time streaming data meant that I could then further nurture this passion by dipping across data across all of the different lines of businesses, stitching together those views. And we generated a lot of key financial KPIs that was used in investment management decisions for key investments. All of that led me to firmly believe the competitive advantages organizations receive by focusing on data and the insights that drive key decisions. Though I will admit, I think CDO title itself can vary widely, organization to organization. Some could be very governance focused, security focused. Some could be monetization focused. But I do believe in the power of the data. So that's what got me started on this track.
That's a great story, Mahi. And you hit on a couple of things that I think are common themes for today's leaders of business that are employing data. And one is you had serendipity, chance, met preparation, right? And that's where the opportunity came. And then the second thing, which is we see increasingly important, and that is the ability to tell a story that's important to the business derived from the insights of the data. Mm-hmm. And that part, it's called different things. It's been referred to as an analytics translator, which implies that you can have a business head and an analytics head, but not a head for both. Clearly, you've had a head for both, which is fascinating, but it shows that the path for those of you that are maybe younger and starting your careers in data is to understand both the data and the business. Or if you're in the business side, understand data triggers better decisions. And how can you go about making that happen? So fascinating career growth, Mahi, in terms of where your preparation met the opportunity. And now you've got a pretty important role as head of Omnichannel for a financial group that's known as among the most innovative in the world. Tell me a little bit about that in terms of digital transformation. And you guys more or less sort of led the way as almost a fintech disruptor, but also a big organization at the same time. What's that look like? How did that happen? And what does that mean in terms of the sort of ways you have to navigate all the opportunities that are at your disposal? How are you going about continuing to innovate?
I think there's multiple questions in that, in the way how you framed it. So I'll answer these in parts, right? And Ally is a great company. I'm very happy to be part of a fintech digital banking core experience. Customer is at the heart of the company, and bringing together delightful experiences is definitely one that the company is very focused on. In my organization, we are very, very focused now on how do we provide consistent, context-based, personalized experiences for customers across all touch points, right? Irrespective of the channel of choice, or if they navigate from one channel to another, how do we use the power of the data to provide delightful customer experiences? And not just data, but also the AI and analytics, the sophistication that exists in our models today. I think I'm very, very excited for the journey we are on. So, and I've been fortunate and grateful enough to have that experience in multiple financial organizations that I've all had customer at their heart and servicing at their core as well. Digital transformations, I think it sounds simple across financial services, but the most difficult aspects of these transformations is always securing the executive buy-in, the board buy-in to believe in the strategy, and always the change management that is needed to associate working and operating in new ways and managing risks appropriately. And that's not easy because sometimes expectations vary widely on what the data strategy and digital transformations are meant to deliver from stakeholder to stakeholder. And while quick wins might be easy to demonstrate, truly sustaining and building sustainable innovation for the long term requires a multi-year investment and commitment, and also good measures in place to measure the iterative value being produced from some of these strategies. And that is very, very, it's easier said than done, for sure. And sometimes organizational setups can be very widely different. So if I think about how do you bring together good product people who are closer to the customer experiences and journey that they are trying to drive, along with the analyst at the other end, trying to look at data, understand and measure and create new experiences or hypotheses, bringing together the data scientists, engineers, ML together could be a challenge in and out of itself. I would also say sustaining this innovation also means you have to focus on people and the talent transformation. So any digital transformation requires is data fluency, ML fluency, cloud fluency, all to be built in your workforce. And that requires investment as well. And you need your executives and senior leadership to be fully bought into that approach. And I've had the good fortune of attempting this a couple of times. So very excited about what we have in store here at Ally.